Hello and welcome to the LRM podcast in association with Britpart. I'm Martin Dominy.
And I'm Steve Miller.
And you join us for an hour about Land Rovers and everything to do with owning them. So we've been on an adventure, haven't we, Steve?
We have.
We've been up to the Peak District with...
Yeah, but before we tell them, the big news.
Yeah.
You've lost your virginity.
I have, yeah. We were only talking about it the other day, weren't we? I've never actually driven a Series 1, or rather I hadn't ever driven a Series 1.
Until now.
Until now, yeah. We went up just for a little social drive around, didn't we, on Saturday, and met up with Alistair Cusick, photographer, contributor to LRM. Land Rover Life editor Neil Watterson came with us as well, didn't he? And we had a good old time up in the Peak District, just chilling out, looking at some really stunning scenery and doing the odd green lane and having a picnic. So it was a very good. And Alistair let me drive his Series 1, which was a highlight for me. It was absolutely brilliant.
So anyone that hasn't driven a Series 1, they are, because a lot of people step into Land Rover ownership, don't they, later on in the model years. So they might even just drive Defender for the first time. Driving a Series 1 is a rather special thing to do.
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
For those who haven't done it, and even I drove Alistair's Series 1 the same weekend, and I must say, and this isn't us just blowing smoke up his backside, that Series 1 is probably one of the nicest I've ever driven.
I think of any series vehicle, the controls, the lightness of the steering, how precise it is, in relation to a lot of other series vehicles I've driven, my own included, an absolute dream to drive, and so well sprung, doesn't jar your back over bumps. It
really supple and just set up really nicely.
It was an absolute pleasure, and I'm hugely grateful to Alistair for ticking that box for me, because absolutely delightful thing to drive.
So after that weekend though, did you find yourself looking for Series 1s and classifieds?
I had a quick look. I think they're one of those that, I'm really pleased to have driven one, but I don't think, I think parts availability and stuff like that put me off slightly, but a really, really special Land Rover, and if you've got one, look after it, because when they're set up properly, like Alistair's, it's one absolutely beautiful thing to drive. I can't speak highly enough of it. And they're very different, actually, to Series 2s, 2As and 3s, like the way the doors, the door bottoms are so low, and then you've got the much taller door tops and the dash, and the whole experience is much more different than I expected it to be.
It's almost like Willis Street, isn't it? In that kind of...
Well, yeah, they were sort of quite closely related when they first...
Well, yeah, but they're very, very similar in their terms of their wheel size and driving experience, very similar.
Yeah, I can imagine. Again, I'm not driven a Jeep. Maybe that's the next one to tick off the box of Willis Jeep.
Back to back. So you get to feel a different...
Twin test.
There's
an idea. Talking of tests and things like that, the new issue's out today. The latest issue for Land Rover Monthly, hot off the press, still warm to the touch. The October issue of Land Rover Monthly is on sale, and you can't miss it. It's got a very, very cool... I briefly alluded to this before. It's a 6x6 Discovery 1 on the cover that the owner, Keith Elliott, has built completely by himself at home. And an absolute, what an incredible piece of engineering. I couldn't tear myself away from it when we went to go and photograph it. Just incredible, the level of work and detail that has gone into this. So I implore you, grab a copy of the October issue and just try and take in as much detail as you can, because,
the pictures speak for themselves, because, some people, you can restore something, metal fabrication, welding, electrics, everything's gone into that, hasn't it? Would work. For the craftsmanship in all, upholstery, the man's done it all, hasn't he?
Without giving too much away, from modifying and extending the Discovery's original chassis to sewing the covers on the cushions that are in the camper conversion, he has done everything. And it's mind-blowing that one man can have that range of skills. Just unreal. And a very, very nice guy as well. So thanks again, Keith, for letting us come and visit and photograph your lovely 6x6. Cracking. Really pleased with this issue, and hopefully a lot of people will enjoy it as well. So either buy online or pop to your local newsagent or supermarket and grab a copy, because I don't think you'll be disappointed.
And even if you're listening outside of the UK, you can buy a digital issue.
Yeah.
And get it straight into your inbox.
Yes, yeah, you can smartphone or tablet or computer, whatever you want.
Yeah. So no excuse. Everyone listens to this, go and buy a copy of Land Rover Monthly.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be much appreciated. So what else is new? Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say. The obviously, driving a Series 1 is like the one end of the spectrum as far as Land Rover age is concerned. Like, they were obviously the first model. Alistair's is an 88-inch, so it's sort of towards the end of Series 1 production. It wasn't right at the beginning, but, it's still the same sort of...
changed much today, really, in terms of...
No, not characteristic-wise. I guess they're all
similar.
An 80-inch is going to be quite different to drive to an 88, but, they're all the same straight-sided model. But I was lucky enough to go to Eastnor Castle, courtesy of Land Rover, to test out a couple of vehicles with their latest off-road technology in them. And that was very eye-opening. Just the level of capability on the cars now is ridiculous. We went out in latest new Defender and tested out wade sensing. Have you experienced such magic before, Steve?
I have seen... when the new Defender was launched, it had it can measure the depth of the water that it's going in, can't it?
Yeah, so you've
you've got
sensors under the mirrors, and it works like park distance control. When you back up to a wall and the beeping gets more frequent, it's like that, but it's for the depth of water. So as you cross water, as it gets deeper, the beeping gets more frequent, so you're getting towards the sort of 900 mil wading depth limit.
Do you know that would do my head in?
Do you think?
I hate cars at Bing and Bong. Like most of the modern cars now, Bing and Bong at every single sensor. I just think off-roading and technology is taking away the kind of driver input and the skill.
I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that, well, I suppose the idea of the technology that's on these now is that anyone can jump in a new shape Land Rover and be, get the job done off-road. They're very flattering. It was the same when the Discovery 3 was launched. When Terrain Response came out, it was like everyone was like, a complete newbie to off-roading could take control of one of them, put it into whatever mode that was relevant to the conditions, and the car would do so much of the work. And that's the same sort of, along the same vein as all these new systems on the latest Land Rovers. The other system, other than wade sensing, was Range Rover and Range Rover Sport now have adaptive off-road cruise control, which is as mind-blowing as it might sound. So models up till now have had ATPC, which is all-terrain progress control, which is like an extension of terrain response, if you like, where the car sort of reads the ground for you or adapts itself to the sort of terrain you're driving. And the cruise control version takes that a step further. So like the luxury models like Sport and full-size Range Rover, you can essentially select how smooth you want it to be off-road and so you set a target speed like normal cruise control.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm not buying it, Martin.
Are you not?
No.
I'm not selling it.
Good job. I can't afford it.
But the way it does it, it's like it calculates, you set your target speed and you set the level of comfort you want. Like if you're not that bothered, if it's you by yourself and you just need to get across a field, you'd set it quite low. Whereas if you've got, I don't know, someone really important in the back that needs to be cosseted through this terrain.
Like your wife, too important.
Well, exactly. You dial up the comfort and then it goes, well, you can have more comfort, but you can't have that speed. And then it blends the two.
Right, okay. Right.
You're not having it, are you?
No. By the time you've dicks around, right, messing around with that, I'd be across the field and done my job.
Right. I agree.
I would go across this field at 11 miles an hour. What?
I agree with you, but what I would say is until you've experienced it firsthand, you can't quite appreciate how clever it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No. And all of these new technologies, sorry, Land Rover, but I'm not buying it. Right? But all of these new technologies are all well and good. And yes, they have to keep launching stuff to sell new cars, otherwise you might as well keep your old one.
Yeah.
But seriously,
It did make me ask the question, actually, how much further can you go? How much more development, what new ideas can they come up with to make Land Rovers great off-road? Because there's going to be, in my mind, the limitations are tyres and bodywork, right? The old Defender was so good because it was so high up, like the approach and departure angles and steel front bumper, steel rear cross member. You didn't really have loads of bumpers
and
to
they're
rip off.
small in comparison to a new Defender.
Yeah. And while they've retained those brilliant angles because you can jack it up on the air suspension and things like that. If you do get it too close to something, you're going to, there's plastic bumpers to damage and things like that. So my question would be, how much better can it get off-road without, causing damage to these things? Because the terrain they'll get over now is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I just think don't know. I'm just old. There you go.
I have to say, while they do make people who haven't driven off-road before, and part of the package when you buy a Land Rover now, buy a new Land Rover, is you get a free half-day training course at an experience centre, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, I've been around to Eastnor, and anyone that's never been to Eastnor Castle, the off-road experience is fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing.
Probably some of the best off-roading I've done in the UK is on that course.
It's obvious, like I say, you get your free half-day course when you buy a Land Rover, and most people do take that offer up. They do actually go and do it. Whether they off-road to that extent again in the life they own the vehicle, I doubt. But to actually open people's eyes to how capable they are out of the box with standard road tyres is, I think, really important. And that's the reason why Land Rover, they have to be head and shoulders above everyone else in terms of off-road ability, which I think they do.
Yeah, no, it's good to have the capability.
But I'd sooner drive a Series 1 off-road.
A Series 1 off-road is a lovely place to be. You're absolutely at one with the terrain.
You are, that's true.
Feel every single bump.
You can, but in a good way.
In a good way.
Balusters as well. The springs actually work. They're not like solid lumps of rotten metal like so many are.
No, definitely.
Yeah, so that was, both days were eye-opening, really. It was really good fun. So it was like one extreme to the other, really. One of the first generations of Land Rovers and then into the very last.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really nice. Good times. Yeah, so, one other thing I did notice was yesterday, I'd said before that we'd had no AI-written advertisements onto Land Rover Monthly marketplace.
Yeah, they're creeping in, are they?
Well, we've had the first one. I picked it up straight away. It was like a sixth sense. I was like, that's been written by AI. And I looked through it, and sure enough, lots and lots of background about what a Defender is, but not that much detail. So I didn't approve it. So if you wrote that and sent it in, sorry, you're going to have to do better.
Have another go. So, yeah, anyone that hasn't listened to one of our previous podcasts, we are seeing in classified adverts now, AI, so artificial intelligence, writing adverts on your behalf.
Yeah.
True buyers of Land Rovers don't want to read that crap, basically. If they want to find out about the history of Land Rover, buy Land Rover Monthly magazine or read a book.
Yeah.
Don't put it in your advert. People want to know about the vehicle in question. How much amenities it got.
AI,
what's it had done,
won't, maybe, I don't know if it's got advanced enough to check the MOT history and stuff like that. I doubt it has, but only you know about the vehicle you're selling. So AI is not going to give a good enough description of the Land Rover that you're hoping to get, someone's hard-earned money for. So just put the effort in.
Yeah. So heard it here first.
Yeah. And if any more come through, beware.
Yes. You really won't get approved. We want genuine people selling genuine Land Rovers to genuine enthusiasts. It's simple as that.
Absolutely.
Anyone that wants to list a vehicle, they genuinely can do so at emailing in at classifieds@lrm.co.uk.
Yep. Or by filling out the form on the website, which is a lot quicker.
Yes, indeed. Yes. So landrovermonthly.co.uk and register it there, and then we can take that advert, the online advert, and put it into the pages of the future issue of Land Rover Monthly.
Yes, indeed. And Yep, so it'll be on the website. We also do our newsletter, don't we? We do vehicles for sale newsletter every month with editors pick of the month on it. So I go through and have a little look, see what catches my eye and expand on that a little bit.
So that's another thing then. So anyone that wants to sign up to our newsletter can do via our website. So we send out a few emails, and these are emails that we think that you'll be interested in. So new products go out every month, don't they?
Yeah, we've got an accessories and new products email. We've got the vehicles for sale. We do obviously one that tells you when the new issue is out. So they're not like your generic junk rubbish that goes, straight into your spam folder. This is stuff that you would be interested in if you're into Land.
Yeah, and if you want to attend any of our shows, the early bird ticket offers that you save some money. Obviously, we're sitting here now in the middle of August, so very, very soon in October we have Spares Days coming up at Newbury, Ripon and Malvern.
3 Spares Days in 1 month, so if you're really keen, come to all of them. Yeah, good stuff. Actually, talking of events, it's York Land Rover show this weekend. So if you're up that neck of the woods, do go along. It's always a cracking show. I've been the last 2 years.
Are you going again?
No, I can't make it this weekend. I've got too much to do. I've got to tear that old shed down in my driveway and start making...
Well, it's a bit harsh. Call your Series 3 an old shed.
No, I'd love to be there, but unless I get this ball rolling on the garage at home, I'm never going to start, and then I'll just moan to you all the time that I can't,
We do not know
to work. Well, thanks. But have a great time. Richard Canterbury, who runs it, is an absolute top bloke, and there'll be loads of cool stuff going on. So if you're up in that neck of the woods, York Land Rover show, it's always a good time. So get along to that. It's this Sunday. So yeah, have a good one. And I'll be there next year. I'll make it there next year because my shed will be finished. So you can hold me to that as well.
Yeah,
unlike your Land Rover.
Yeah, sure. But you haven't helped.
Yeah. So I had an interesting phone call yesterday from a guy I've known many years. He runs a local independent Land Rover garage, although I believe he's branched off into Nissans a little bit now for his sins. Had a chat about he's got a Freelander touring that's got a few issues, and he just wanted to pick my brains. And we carried on chatting, and he mentioned that he's got a early TDV8 L322 for sale. Yeah, for not huge amounts of money, and sort of like, that would be quite nice. Big boot, tow 3.5 ton, bit more comfortable.
Sounds like you're buying it.
Well, I might go and look at it. It's just the tax. The tax is a killer. It's like £800 a year to tax them now. Do you know what I mean?
The UK is, mind you, it's not as expensive as other places though. So we should be, outside of the UK.
Oh.
Some people are having to pay a lot more than £800 to tax a car.
Yeah. I suppose it gets harder to justify as values dip lower. Like, that makes up a significant chunk of what you might pay for the car in the first place. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. It is a bit of a killer, but...
But then again, the other way of looking at it, the flip side, is you're buying such a capable car at such a low price. If it costs that much to tax, then it costs that much to tax. It's still incredible value.
Definitely a lot of car for the money.
I'll update you. We'll see how that... I might go and look at it later in the week, and we'll kick the tyres and see what's what. Yeah. But it was funny. I've been doing loads of tip runs in the series, getting rid of loads of old wood out of the garden, and we had another message off the back of our conversation about going to the tip in your Land Rover.
Our displeasure of going to our local recycling centres
and the
what they will take and what they won't take.
Yes, absolutely. We listener Anthony, whose question we've previously answered about is L322. He said, because you mentioned your local recycling centre doesn't take car parts.
No, unless it's metal, because that's obviously they get money for the metal. They obviously take it to the scrapyard, but they don't like car parts. They refuse to take them.
He said, if you're allowed to recycle wood, what about if they're parts from a Morgan? Because they're wood. They have a wooden frame, don't they? Where is that line, Steve?
I don't think the guys at our local recycling centre would understand if you were walking in there with wood that it was off a Morgan.
No, and also...
Who's taking the Morgans a minute?
Who's like, oh no, another Morgan I've got to strip down and take to the tip.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
I presume that's a hypothetical question rather than is actually taking the Morgan to pieces.
I don't know. If anyone has ever
had
a rotten old Morgan in their driveway and taken it all down the road to the tip, then I'd love to hear about that.
I think it's things like they don't like car seats or windscreens or glass, particularly for cars. Obvious things that are automotive.
Yeah.
But if it's metal, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
It's a plastic dashboard and trim is a bit of a no-no.
Seats especially are a pain to get rid of because they're obviously too big to fit in your bin. Where else do you take them?
Well,
scrapyards don't want them because then
this is the problem. Tyres.
Oh, tyres.
Right? So our recycling centre says no car tyres. I can pay your local, if you just stop through your local tyre specialist.
It's between £2 and £4 a tyre.
It's really not that expensive. No. Please don't leave them rotting in the sides of your garden or dump them in lay-bys because we've spoken about this before, but just take them to the
fly tipping is the scummiest thing. Well, one of the scummiest things people can do. It really annoys me.
Talk about Morgans. Have you ever been in one?
Never.
I have.
How was it?
The one I went in was a Morgan +8. It was an old boss of mine, right? And it was, lots of wood. It's a bit like an expensive kit car.
Yeah,
and it felt like driving a Series 3 Land Rover, but with a V8 in it and sitting low to the ground.
Interesting.
Yeah, nothing special, I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they have a huge following, don't they?
Huge
people that own them are like massively into them. So I think they must have something about them.
Yeah, this was like one of those, you'd class this a modern classic car. But didn't do it for me.
Didn't float your boat. Well, takes all you go, I suppose, doesn't it? That's part of the...
So yeah, I would take it to the...
Let it compost down for a bit and then scoop it up and take it down the tip.
Yeah, lovely when you see them being built at... obviously, we have a show, don't we, in Malvern, and that's the home of Morgan.
Indeed,
You see a lot of Morgans floating around just the showground. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
On the test route.
No, I don't know a lot about them other than they're British handmade sports cars with wood in them. And didn't they do a 3-wheel Morgan?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought they did.
2 wheels at the front, one at the back.
It seems like it would really wheel spin all over the place, and like if you went out in the wet, you would just die.
Yeah, how many people drive them in the wet? They look really cool, actually. I've sat in one. I've never actually.
They called a scorpion. I don't know.
No,
we've gone off on a tangent.
Well, yeah. Anyway, welcome to
the UK's #1 Morgan podcast.
I bet there is a Morgan podcast.
Oh, there is, yeah.
Yeah, won't have us on it because we know nothing about them.
No, we take them to the tip in cardboard boxes. Not really. I'm sure they're lovely.
No, they're nice. I can see the appeal.
It got me thinking the other day, actually, after driving Alistair Series 1, obviously in previous years, I've been lucky enough to drive all sorts of Series Land Rovers and classic Land Rovers in general, really. And people who sort of restomod them, if they do it well, they're brilliant. And I think it's key to get as many people using older Land Rovers as possible. So if that means modifying them a little bit, then so be it, as far as I'm concerned. Great example of that in new issue, actually, with a Series 1 restomod, which is sort of the guy... It's sort of a family heirloom car, but he knew that if he had it fully restored to original, he wouldn't use it. He'd be scared and it wouldn't be comfortable enough.
Yeah.
So he's Julian Schulheifer, who's sort of become synonymous with amazing restoration jobs. He got tasked with doing that. And it's sort of just a few little modern twists, but it did get me thinking, how much character does it matter to people if you get rid of a certain amount of character from an old Land Rover? So like fitting power steering,
see, now you've opened a can of worms.
Leaf springs, so you could have like your series, because like back in the day, Arrow and other companies, I think even Richards, do coil sprung chassis for Series Land Rovers. Like if you fitted coils to it, are you getting rid of too much of what made it a series in the first place?
See, I think yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Do you think? Where is the line, though? How do you define that?
Well, for me, so I think if it was left to factory with leaf springs, it should stay on leaves.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than coils.
Parabolics? Are parabolics allowed?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
So I'm basically setting the rules.
That's
now
fine.
for everybody.
You just write in the rule book on restomod. It's not a problem.
I think engine conversions were fine.
Any engine conversions or just Land Rover engines?
No, any.
Okay. Power steering?
No.
Okay. All right, I'm getting my head around it. I'm just building a Land Rover in my head now. What Steve deems to be okay.
Yeah, so I understand, right? So if you made a Series 1 trial from a early Range Rover, a shortened chassis caused by that's in its own right,
Okay.
fine.
Yes, got you.
Because you've gone down that route. But what you haven't done is resto-modded an original to look original, but not.
Yeah, okay.
Should an electric motor go in a Series 1? I'm going to say, right, so I'm going to say no.
I'm just going to crack open a can of worms.
Yes, I'm feeling a bit controversial now.
All right.
I feel like...
Well, I suppose really that depends. That goes down the same route as it's okay to modify one if it means it's going to get used. So
No, it's okay to modify one if I like.
Right.
So it's going to just be approved.
Judge, jury,
Yeah,
executioner on this now.
Non-standard colours or... See...
Well,
yeah.
What I like to see is we talked about trialling and people were like, I've got loads of good feedback on that. People should bring back trialling. Go and do your local trials. It's great fun. Land Rovers, Series 1s, hybrids, things like that were used as trialers years and years ago, like 10, 20, 30 years ago, probably even longer, that were original. Then they got modified into a trialer, and then the trialer got forgotten about and it's rotted in someone's yard for years. A great example of that, actually, is Toby Savage's trialer that used to belong to Pete Wilford.
Okay, yeah, the cutters.
Yes.
Yeah.
That has been restored sympathetically, but it's remained a trialer.
Yeah, but you see, that's been a trial longer than it was a series.
Yeah, an original.
Or the original thing. So technically, the majority of the time, it's been what it is. So it should go back to it.
It stay as a trialer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And actually...
Because at the time, the car wasn't... But...
The reason they became trialers is because they were worth next to nothing and it was cheap motorsport.
So really now it's about like somebody taking a Discovery 3 and modifying it and doing something with it, and you wouldn't bat an eyelid, would you?
No.
Does anyone actually modify Discovery 3s beyond what it is, if you know what I mean? No one chops the body down or makes a pickup. I know someone has.
Someone I remember has done a series Discovery 3. They shortened the body to fit on a Range Rover Sport chassis because they're a little bit shorter wheelbase.
Okay.
And I believe it was either a TV V8 or a supercharged petrol. I can't remember which. That's probably the most modified one I've ever seen. But it does seem to be more common now. I know there's a couple of companies in the UK that now just specialise in doing TD-V8 and V8 petrol conversions on Disco 3s with dead engines, which I think is brilliant. That's like modern day.
That's a modern day 3 litre Ford engine, Ford V6 in a lightweight.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Rover V8 into a series, or I don't know, TDI into a VM Range Rover or whatever. That's like, these things are, we don't necessarily see them that way because it's happening now, isn't it? But that is essentially the contemporary version of that.
But in 20 years from now, do you remember this? Do
you remember when people were putting 3.6 TDV8s in Discovery 3s?
But are we at the end now of engine conversions?
I don't know.
With modern cars?
I mean, obviously, the more time goes on, the more integrated engines are. Like, it's not a case of having a V8 with carbs or TDI with an injection pump. They are an integral part of like all the wiring looms, the communication networks, modern stuff. So they're getting more difficult, but people are overcoming them. It's like the number of BMW engine with like the 8-speed automatic gearbox, which would have been in a very modern car, is being integrated now into anything you want. So I think people will keep up with it. It's just becoming more challenging.
Yeah, no, I see that. Yeah.
The whole trialer thing, though, reminded me of a picture I took in Halfords car park, my local Halfords, a couple of months ago, and it's a really, really cool white Defender pickup. For the record, I'm showing Steve a picture of this.
Yes, they're nice.
It is fresh out of late 90s, early 2000s winch challenging, which is one of my favourite eras, probably the golden era of off-roading, really, because it was mostly standard.
Well, isn't the golden era of off-roading where you've just been to Eastnor?
It's a different thing. This is motorsport.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be too many people taking £120,000 Range Rover Sports and putting a worn winch on the front and like sending it up a vertical cliff face.
So they'll just be dialing in how fast they want to go across the field.
I can't believe you've been so negative about this, Steve.
I literally am not buying that technology at all.
Right, okay. I'm going to get Land Rovers to invite you and you can have a look.
That's what I was hoping for.
It's brilliant. Anyway, so I saw this.
Impressed with it.
Yeah.
But
do you know what?
We're going to go back to full circle here, but no one's going to use it.
That is. What really impressed me was I've had a Range Rover Sport on test before and I went green laning with it and I thought, crikey, this ride's a bit hard off-road. Like, not off-road, on the rough surface I was driving on.
Yeah. Cool.
If I'd known how to use that cruise control function, it completely irons out the surface. And that was the main thing that impressed me, was the fact that with a little bit of education, I could have transformed how that drove over ruts and mud and rock and things like that. Even on massive alloys and tiny little tyres, it really does make a massive difference. Anyway, back to this 90.
Back to your 90.
I saw this and I was like, I've got to take a picture. So it hasn't got a straight panel on it. It's an old... I didn't get the year because I only took a picture of the side, but it's got the county stripe. It's white. It's a pickup. It's got what looks like a North off-road cage. Scorpion. It would have been Scorpion Racing back then, now Extreme 4x4. Extreme suspension kit with all the dislocating stuff. Worn 8274 on the front. Had another winch on the back. And it's got loads of stickers from all the events it was in. I love to see Land Rovers that are preserved from then. So many of them that would have done winch challenges or trials or comp safaris have obviously been ripped apart and rebuilt, all new panels.
Back to original, yeah.
Because that's, I guess, where the money is now. So to see a surviving one was just like, I couldn't contain my excitement. I wanted to hang around for the owner to come back so I could have a chat with him, but I thought that would be a bit like stalkerish, so I didn't. But it was, just a really, really cool example of a Land Rover that is sort of not stuck in time, but still wearing its battle scars and still wearing the sort of...
Authentic. It's authentic.
Exactly. Yeah. And just if I could see more of them, that would be brilliant. So if you've got a Land Rover that's from that era, so like your worn trophy and I don't know what we were talking about earlier, the Baskerville Challenge, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Santa's Challenge and those amazing winch challenge events. Maybe you've still got a Land Rover kicking about that hasn't changed too much from them. Send me a picture. Oh, do you remember the Devon 4x4 winch challenge vehicles?
Yes.
Oh, that is the stuff dreams are made of.
My favourite was the Shorten Range Rover that he had.
The bobtailed classic with 4.6 Thor engine in it.
What a thing.
Yeah. Malaysia's Rainforest Challenge.
There's still videos on YouTube of that. If you go to Devon 4x4's YouTube page...
Oh, really?
Those videos exist.
I'm going to not do any work this afternoon and just watch them.
Nothing new there, then.
No. So many...
Yeah, they're on there.
Because when I was, buying Land Rover magazines as a kid and a teenager, that was like my favourite stuff to read about.
That was fantastic, that build.
Croatian trophy. Yeah. I know Gigglepin still do the Polish event, Rally Breslau now, which is kind of similar to look at.
Yeah, but the thing is, with that event now is, and I don't know that much about it, they've moved beyond Land Rover.
Yeah, you don't often see it.
So Land Rover don't produce a strong enough vehicle to put up with or to be competitive now.
I think that's fair to say for all makes, all brands of vehicle now. People are building tube frame buggies and things like that because they are tougher, they're more competitive, and I get that. But to see things that still resemble Land Rovers, like battling through dense woodland and like winching up banks and falling over, and it's just
kind of needs to go full circle again. I always touched on before that having a go at RTVs again.
We're going to do that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Just need to find some time.
No, it's fine. We'll make it happen. But someone should bring. I mean, if there's not enough surviving vehicles about, then you can't. But I'd love to see a formula like that return, like an old school winch challenge come back. Would be awesome. Would be so good.
Yeah.
From a completely selfish point of view, I'm sure some other people aren't really that fussed about it. But to me, it was like,
I think a lot of people would be. A lot of people would.
Do you think?
Yeah, they would.
Do like a Land Rover, I don't know, Land Rover only, like classic winch event type thing, like the Patina National, which is all old leaf sprung Land Rover trials.
But
doing like a more extreme for coil sprung for like 90s and cut down discoveries and things like that. It'd be really, really good to see. I'd be up for that.
You just want to basically relive the 90s, early 2000s again, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Got a problem?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Good. Yeah, so I need to really... I've still got hundreds and hundreds of old magazines with all this stuff in, and I need to go back through them and have another proper good look, because I remember Devon 4x4's Range Rover being on the cover of, I think it was Land Rover World at the time.
Yeah.
Such a cool...
I remember that issue.
Really, really good feature on that, and I was just like... just captivated me as a young... And just...
Back in the day, back in the late 90s, Land Rover World was a fantastic magazine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you were spoiled for choice back then, weren't you? You had Land Rover Monthly, obviously, Land Rover Owner International, RIP, Land Rover Enthusiast, and Land Rover World.
Yeah.
So like half the motoring section in any WH Smiths would have been taken up with Land Rover. So cool.
And now, there's only one magazine to worry about.
Oh. Ooh.
Bit harsh.
Yeah. But no, amazing. I love to look back on stuff like that. And we like the way things have changed over the years, and it's great what people are doing now. You see it at events and things like that, but there's always that. I suppose people older than us would have even more memory, like going back to like the 70s and that, about people hill rallying. Like, I love all the motorsport side of things. Anyway, it's enough of me reminiscing about the good old days
back
of
in
motorsport.
My day. You're old enough now to say back in my day.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, anything new in your world? What have you been up to?
Tell you about what I went on Friday. So if you ever want Land Rover inspiration,
yeah.
And I was very fortunate to go and see the guys at Turner's Off-Road.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they featured on the front cover of the magazine.
It was last year.
Last
August, I think.
Cappuccino-coloured soft top 90. Their latest build is a special colour, very similar to the colour we were talking about called Vintage.
Oh, the not Amaretto, but Amaranto.
Amaranto-y kind of colour. Same colour that you see on La Ferrari, sort of deep red, metallic.
Okay.
E-type colour, really, really lovely.
I bet that's a few quid per litre.
Yeah.
For that paint.
He didn't tell me what it was, but it's a lot.
I bet.
They're in the middle of building a 4.6 V8 truck cab this time.
Really?
Truck cab 90.
Interesting.
And a lot of work gone on to the engine. I mean, you could eat your dinner off it. It's fantastic. And you just stand there and you see the workmanship that's gone into it, and just it's clean
like,
and tidy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Beautiful to see. So yeah, had a look around that. It made me want to crack on and do mine. Yeah. So what else have I done? Obviously, we went to the Peak District, didn't we?
Yeah,
last weekend.
Yeah, that was cool.
Had a good drive around there. Just stopped to get the jet boils on, making tea.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then our picnic.
Nice little Ford as well, wasn't there? That we were to go through. Drove through in the Land Rovers. It was another hot day, wasn't it? But
just nice to use your Land Rover not for work, wasn't it? Just to have a kind of day out. And drive around some lovely scenery.
Yeah, absolutely. The Peak District's stunning. I really want to go to the lakes next and spend some proper time in the Lake District, because that looks like... I've been watching videos about, little different areas and things like that.
Fantastic place.
God, I'd love to get back up there for a proper look around. I've been there before and I've passed through, but I've never spent much time. And yeah, that really appeals to me. Good Land Rover holiday destination, I would imagine.
Do you know what I think is the best? I've written about this in a magazine before. The for Land Rover spotting, the friendliest place in the entire UK is Wales.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that, actually. A lot of Welsh people came to our LRM Live, didn't they, at Malvern?
Yeah, because Malvern's obviously on the border, isn't it, of very close to the border of Wales, Worcestershire area. But when I've been in my Land Rover to Wales, you get more waves, and you see, like, people dailying Series 3s.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, this is just a cool place. So,
and it's a lovely country as well.
For Land Rover in Great Britain, then Wales is my go-to, I would say.
I went to Wales Next to the Sea with my lovely wife. We took our dog for a day out last week.
Expensive fish and chips in Wales Next to the Sea.
Oh, we didn't buy fish and chips. Expensive ice cream. Have you bought ice creams recently? £5 for an ice cream.
Yeah.
Was
it Mr. Whippy or was it proper ice cream?
That was just normal soft serve ice cream.
Yeah, no. It is expensive.
I even bartered. I said, would you do how much for cash? And she was having none of it.
You asked an ice cream lady how much for cash.
£5 ice cream? Are you kidding me? I was looking to get any discount I could, and she declined my... Anyway, Wales Next to the Sea, lovely place to go for a walk. You've got the lovely beach. When the tide's out, you can walk for miles. Fantastic. And then they got like a woodland bit over the back of the sand dune.
Yeah, it's really
for
nice.
me, the highlights, when we go there a fair bit, is the car park.
Really?
Right, hear me out.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever I go there, there's such an enormous range of Land Rovers in the car park, from like brand new full-size Range Rovers, new Defenders. There was a couple of really nicely turned out Discovery 2s there this time, Freelanders.
We're talking, so Wales Next to the Sea is on the Norfolk coast.
Yes, it's a really good...
to know where it is. Lovely, lovely place.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the big car park? The little harbour?
No, the big one. So you drive past the harbour, turn right, go down the road. We always park down there because it's convenient for the dog. Really, yeah, just such a great... And I'm like, I always go Land Rover spotting, and Christy thinks I'm really sad. But there was such a vast range of stuff to see. I've never been there and not seen like a really cool Land Rover, or like, you know, it seems like a big percentage of the cars there are Land Rovers, which is...
Okay,
go have a look around. Make a little detour, you know, when you go and buy your pay and display ticket, you're like, oh, what's that over there? Go and have a little look, be a bit nosy. So yeah, I reckon Norfolk does generally seem to have quite a lot of Land Rovers in it.
It does.
Obviously, Norfolk Garage, really popular section of the magazine, is in Norfolk, as the name suggests, and there must be enough old Land Rovers running around for him to stay in healthy business. He's always got something cool to write about in the mag. So
LRM's Tim Hammond, he's from Norfolk.
He is from Norfolk, yeah, absolutely. Range Rover specialist. He's got some nice stuff, hasn't he? He's got some really nice
Well, he's got two of your old sheds, I mean.
Well, I said some nice stuff. He's just finished a really nice blue V8 manual, and I was like, oh, that'd be nice to have. But yeah, I might budget. But yeah, Norfolk, Wales, where else is good for Land Rovers? Cornwall's quite good.
Yorkshire. Yeah.
Well, yeah, York Land Rover show. And there you go.
Just the North Yorkshire Moors. You see Land Rovers, and you've got some great clubs up there. The East Riding Club.
Oh, good
great
friends.
Guys. Yeah, there's loads of them. In fact, the UK is genuinely quite a nice place to be for Land Rovers. Devon.
Yeah. Actually,
basically what we're saying is anywhere is good for Land Rovers in the UK.
I think you do see higher concentrations in certain places, but yeah,
you do.
I mean, again, we always say we're spoilt really for places you can drive to and have a great day or a great weekend out in your Land Rover. And of course, because Land Rovers are British and we live in the UK, parts are just like everywhere. It's just great. While the weather's good, just get out and use your Land Rover. That's where I think and take a picture of it for month in pictures. If you've got a picture that you want to send in that you'd like to be featured in the magazine, like a little snap, maybe you've been out and about, maybe you've been somewhere new in your Land Rover, or you've spotted a Land Rover out and about and you've thought, well, that's pretty smart. Your pictures in the magazine, every month we feature a huge variety of bits and pieces that you've spotted while out on your travels. If you'd like to have your submission featured, just email it to me at martin@lrm.co.uk and I'd be happy to get it in the magazine. We've got Brilliant selection. I always get loads every month.
I love buying monthly pictures.
I love going through them all and choosing them because there's so many different ones every month. Brilliant.
Good. One day we'll have to have Alistair Cusick, photographer, on this very podcast to
yes, definitely
give his hints and tips on how to take the perfect Land Rover picture.
Yeah. We need to get guests involved, really. I'm sure people are getting bored of us hearing us yammering on for an hour at a time about...
Me getting bored talking to you? Yes.
Thanks. But, it'll be fun. We're going to get some guests on soon. We're sort of trying to figure out, who would,
What is actually right? So let's ask our listeners then. So
yeah, okay.
Actually,
who do you want to hear on the podcast?
Who is out there that you think needs to be on the LRM podcast? It might be you, or it might be somebody.
Yeah, editorial@lrm.co.uk. Send us a little email and let us know who you think would be a good guest and who you want to hear have a chat, because, we're up for broadening our horizons. I'm kind of...
Yeah, definitely. And you might have a list of questions you want to ask that individual. Pitch it to us. We'll pitch it to them, and we'll see if
we can get on, because we want to take the podcast on the road soon as well, don't we? And get out to some different locations and do...
We do. Anyone that... Well, no one can see where we're sitting at the moment, but we're in like a studio which gets used for various different filming jobs at Warner's, who own Land Rover Monthly. We've got different tabletop games and things like that. We're looking at an array of tabletop games.
We're incredibly lucky to have this facility to record it in, but at the same time it's not exactly inspiring to look at, which is why we haven't uploaded the podcasts visually to YouTube yet, although we will do. But yeah, lots of good stuff in the works for YouTube as well, so please do subscribe to the LRM YouTube channel and all our other social media if you want to keep up with what we're up to and get your fill of content.
Yeah, we're definitely
all good fun. That's about it for today, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not.
Why?
Well,
you're not going to carry on, are you?
Yeah.
Go on. What else are you going to say then?
Product of the week.
Oh, of course. How could I forget product of the week? Sorry, I do apologise.
Product of the month, wouldn't it, if we didn't do one every week?
I suppose it would be, yeah. So
you're going to make this up now. Product of the week is going to be made up by Martin.
Making it 3,
2, 1.
I'm not making it up. This has been prepared. I just forgot about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Door seals, right? Defend door seals.
Yeah.
We all know
rubbish.
Yeah, they are usually
They don't
rubbish.
Normally seal.
And it doesn't matter where you order them from, the quality of them does seem to be variable. I think that just like the batches must be different, or anyway.
Different compound or something.
But now there is a solution.
Somebody, product of the week.
Our friends up I'm not doing the jingle. Products of the week, YRM Metal Solutions, our good friends up in Hampsterley, up in the north, have put loads of development work into making their own version of Land Rover Defender door seals.
Good. About time someone's done it.
So they're strong enough that you can jump in and out and like drag your trousers on them as people do, then they get ripped and whatever else. They'll withstand that, no problem. But they're also the right compound so that they actually seal. Imagine that.
I need some.
Yeah, you do.
Particularly on my driver's side.
Is yours getting a bit tired now, is it?
Well, the seal on the bottom has been ripped off by...
yeah, but you don't want a bottom door seal, do you? Because then all the water that leaks in the top can escape.
I know, but then if I sort the top, need the one at the bottom.
Yeah, but you'll never sort the top, so... But anyway, you can get all these for all 5 doors, so all 4 front doors and then the back door as well. So no excuse to have leaky door seals or ripped door seals where you've like snagged it with your jeans and it's all worn out on the back edge. So go and visit them, yrmit.co.uk, and pick yourself up. They're from £75, which I think you'll agree is a small price to pay for having a leak-free door seal aperture thing. So head over there and have a look. They were very excited to show them off to me last time I was up visiting them for a reason that will become clear in the next few months. So yeah, a lot of work's gone into them, and you can reap the rewards, the benefits of such a product. And thank you for that reminder, Steve, because it has
no problems. Yeah, but no, I've got nothing else to add.
Are we all good now? Are we okay?
I'm happy now we've done.
Now that we've done product of the week, awesome. All right, well, thanks again for joining us. Again, any questions or comments you've got on the podcast, send us an email, editorial@lrm.co.uk. give us a little follow on the socials and like and comment and subscribe. Oh, can you rate the podcast as well? That'd be good.
I rate it 5 out of 5.
So do most other people on Apple, which is nice.
Good.
Yeah, so thanks ever so much for that. Actually, I'm just going to show you how many 5-star ratings we've got on Apple. Very, very exciting. We have got... Oh, hang on. I've clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. Oh, 4.8 out of 5. That's not bad. 23 ratings.
So basically, someone's not said we're 5 out of 5.
No, they haven't.
And I couldn't agree more.
Someone's rated us 1 star. What's going on there?
Really?
Right.
Whoever that is.
Get back on rating it 5. They haven't left a comment, though, so we don't know who it is. We can't go around the house and, poke them in the eye.
Obviously, we appreciate this podcast is just us two rambling on, and it isn't going to be for everybody. And if it's not, don't listen. Don't tune in.
And on that, we'll call it, shall we?
Yeah.
See you next week. Thanks.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you next week.
Bye for now.